right.
Hey guys, happy Valentine's Day. It's Wednesday, February 14th. At least I can remember that. Welcome to the TED Show, episode 118. Let us know that you can hear us and see us, because that would be really sad after we've had such a great time the last 15 or 20 minutes that you guys couldn't enjoy and the fun that we're having. It's a little close quarters, of course. Susie, let me know you can hear us and see us. That would be awesome. I'm with Desmond Pollock and Debbie Irons. Oh, Fraser's on. Fraser, let us know that you can hear us and see us, and then you can do anything embarrassing you want, Deb said. So she said no, absolutely not. So welcome to the show. I was so excited you guys agreed to come on the show. I saw the post about bringing home grace, and I love you guys anyway. You can hear us fine, thank you. Can you see how tight we are? We're close, we're very close. Happy Valentine's Day, Jen. So you can see the stuff, right? Isn't that good?
I like it.
Yes. It's instant gratification, isn't it awesome?
It is.
I know.
It is.
I know. Why do you think I love it?
Or scary, depending on who's on.
Debbie had the habit of foregoing the entree when she eats out and going straight to the dessert. Oh, I can't see the rest of it.
Oh, we can't see the rest.
I can't. Who's
Yes,
hot? Debbie.
yes,
Debbie and
yes.
Desmond. And it's Valentine's, so I had to wear red. So, but the whole point was to bring them on so we could talk about bringing home grace. They have an event coming up on the 24th of February. Happy Valentine's Day, Susie. And we wanted to talk about what Brian's on. See, I told you, they're all watching for you. We're waiting.
This is getting scarier
This is
by
scary.
the minute. Yes.
It's totally scary. So welcome. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you fighting the traffic and the bad parking here at the club. Who are these people, Brian says. No idea, Brian. We were just talking about you earlier, honestly. So Debbie's got a confession she's going to make pretty soon. I'm just kidding.
I wanted to know whose closet was bigger, yours, Brian, or Ted's?
Well, Brian has the... So I go to places like Plato's Closet or Walmart Closet. Brian has the sleeves where he's handwritten it and has it emblazoned on his sleeve.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm not a big crazy realtor tycoon like Brian is.
He came into our office yesterday with his new shirt showing us and bright orange shorts. So,
Of course you did. Look, I like bright orange.
Yes.
If I was the same size as Brian, maybe he would share some of that with me, but I am not the same. I'm not implying I'm the same. Love you guys too. Love you, Brian. All right, so let's talk, because we're going to get all involved in them, and I want to get some background on you. So you read their bios. They work together. You guys are on the same team.
We are,
right?
yes.
Which is awesome. Real estate team. So we'll talk a little bit about that, because I don't want to go by without people knowing what you do. But you can go first. Ladies first. It's Valentine's Day. Talk
Absolutely.
a little bit about your background, because you've got an interesting biology background, which I love. I love this story. I
do. I was born and raised in Cape Canaveral, Merritt Island, Rockledge, the Brevard area. So Florida girl, go Florida. And then went to college for my undergraduate, UCF student, and then for my graduate degree was University of Florida. So I got a micromolecular biology degree and then a Bachelor of Science in Soil and Water Science. So yes, I am your nerdy girl who was getting dirty, going out taking soil cores. I was developing green technologies for wetlands, specifically the Everglades, for about 8 years after college.
Didn't you tell me you were in, like you would go into the swamp and the ponds and the ick, but you loved it, right?
Oh yeah, I mean...
She likes to get dirty. Have you seen...
I'll
go backtrack. Sorry. As soon as I said it, I'm like, oh, this is going downhill.
Here we go.
But
I was about
picture,
to add a comment on it.
See, he's being good.
I know.
I saw your picture where you just did a race, which we have to talk about that too.
Yes.
And you got all muddy and dirty, but that's what you did when you were... And do you still do that? Do you still go out and get, not racing, but you go out into the muck and the mud and...
I do. I've been known especially for listing property or going by a property. I'll go out and check out the pond, or if it's lakefront, I'll go check that out. I love to look at the topo maps and determine what's a wetland, what's not a wetland.
Topographical.
Oh, yep. Sorry.
Oh, I knew it. Very good.
So yeah,
Great
I mean,
guess.
not only did I do the wetland stuff, which of course we were always on airboats, swimming with gators, walking with gators. That was pretty typical, kind of like the real estate business, so not much different. But also I ran a pilot study for Disney wastewater treatment, so it got dirtier. I mean, I was swimming in wastewater, and
Ooh, that does not seem...
Nobody believes it, but it's true. That's what I used to do, and I do. I miss some of the science world. And
why real estate? Why did you make the leap to real estate?
Yeah, so that's really weird. So I had 2 babies in 2 years, and I decided I just could not keep up with the schedule that being a scientist requires. So if your experiment goes bad, I mean, you can't just leave. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna try to be a stay-at-home mom, and that lasted about 2 months.
I was gonna say, how did that work out for you?
God, love the stay-at-home mom. I went crazy. I drove my husband crazy. It was not going to work for me. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go out and get a part-time job, something not stressful. And I was a real estate assistant. And of course, that entrepreneur part of me said, hey, I can do this. Why, I'm going to go get my real estate license. And there you go. So 15 years later, here I am.
That's interesting because you have the science background. So a lot of science people don't get into sales, which is real estate. That's an interesting dichotomy there of you to have both. So you're using, I can't barely use 1/4 of my brain. So to use both your left and your right side is pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I mean, being in sales is not really a natural thing for me. I mean, I prefer to be in a lab by myself, and I mean, I might be dancing in the corner, but still, going to strangers' houses and that sort of thing. But what I've learned is I approach it as solving a problem. So I'm super nervous even to this day, going into a listing appointment or meeting new people. But then it just kicks in of, this is your challenge, this is what we got to do, let's solve it. So I guess that's how it works.
So you take a scientific approach to it, right?
Absolutely.
You're thinking through it, not as a typical salesperson who goes in and naturally wants to be around people and talk to people. You're going in scientifically. This is what I need to do in order to get the transaction done, get the house sold or listed or whatever.
Yes, it's a challenge. I'll take it. Yes.
I love it. All right, and then we'll get back to you in a minute because I want to give Desmond some airtime.
Hey.
Desmond's got some beers over there that we need to drink.
I've had a few.
This is Desmond Pollock, who works on Debbie's team. You guys are teammates, so to speak. And so give us a little background on you.
Sure. So I am the opposite. I come from the city. I'm actually from New York originally. Came down here. Ended up in Orlando for college, not UCF, but I actually ended up going to an audio school to study music and production. So from there, a lot of people don't know about me. I actually worked at a studio, worked with a lot of bigger artists, and I actually was with Power 95.3 and doing a lot of the events for Power 95.3 as well. Aside from that, I got that and trickled into real estate. I actually first got my real estate license to do timeshare sales. They told me that the money's great, but you can't sleep at night, and I was okay with losing sleep. To get into that, and I was actually grabbed by another agent who told me just to have a conversation with someone. Ended up going into general real estate and did there. The first year I was on my own. After my first year, I ended up joining on with Debbie. And then I started to really develop a niche in real estate investing and the numbers behind real estate and how all of that works. So I really enjoyed working with investors, also flipping properties. I have flipped properties. I teach a class about flipping properties with no money down, which is actually really cool. Techniques that we use.
Is that really, so you can really do that?
Absolutely.
People say that all the time because you see it on Facebook, you see it on social media, and I think people are leery of that thought process because there's probably a whole bunch of people out there telling you a whole bunch of stuff that's not true.
Yes. So there are a bunch of quote unquote gurus who basically will try to sell you on a program to do it. I kind of went out there and sought the education for the most part myself. And yes, I can say as I stand here today that I have made a good amount of money flipping real estate without having to dive into my pocket for anything.
Wow, that's awesome. When's the next class? No, I think people want to know. I think that's amazing. So there are a lot of charlatans out there, honestly.
Absolutely.
People making a whole bunch of promises. So when I hear that, I'm always leery. But since I know you two, I know that it's true.
Yes.
And that would, I think, be very interesting. So we'll share that information. One of these three does not look like Dave Chubb. I love you. You're awesome.
Which one is it?
Which one? I don't know. I won't tell you the way we differentiated each other earlier. That's for later. But I would love more information. I think they would too. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I am teaching a class at my market center. February 22nd, I'm teaching about purchasing and also holding rentals and keeping them profitable with no money out of your pocket.
That's amazing.
Yep. So I'm teaching rentals. The first class I taught, which was back in January, was more so about flipping houses with nothing out of your pocket. So this next one will be about holding rentals and keeping them profitable. So yes. So
he does it, and now you have two boys.
Absolutely.
Isaiah and Malika.
Yes, and it is my son's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
He turns
Happy
3.
birthday, baby.
That's
Yes.
so sweet. I saw pictures. They're absolutely adorable.
Absolutely. I'm blessed. I'm a blessed man for sure.
Dave Chubb had to say February
2 p.m.
22nd, 2 p.m. All welcome.
Oh, yeah. He's
Way to go, Dave.
he had to plug in my glass.
Way to plug it, man. I love it.
Always working. Yes.
And so I started another company which really focuses on investing and purchasing properties, flipping properties, but also teaching other people how to do it as well. And that's Encore Real Estate Group, which I'm really proud of as well. So super excited about that and what the future holds there as well.
It's amazing. And then you have 4 daughters.
I do. I have 4 daughters. Yes.
And what are there? So you had the 2 back to back, and then what are the differences?
This is why we have this.
I understand completely. I don't have 4 daughters though. I have 2.
Right, ages 16, 15, 12, and 9. So good times. Yes.
I love what you do on social media though. I love that you post all of the things that you go through as a mom who has a business, who is running crazy in 10 million different directions, and you share the ups and downs of that on your social media. I don't know if you realize how much people pay attention to that, but I remember that you thanked Pinterest for a recent thing, and you do that a lot. I love that you post what you go through, because I think so many other parents go through the same exact thing.
It is. I think so many people will look at you or your Facebook feeds and, oh, you've got it all together. You're a parent, you're a business owner, you have property, you have a foundation, all of these things, and they think I have it together. Well, I don't. I mean, it's a daily struggle. Things pop up just like everything else. I screw stuff up. I'm not crafty, and my kids give me 30 minutes of I need a Valentine's box. So I'm like,
I love that though. But you knew where to go. You're resourceful, which is good.
Oh yeah.
I'm not crafty either. I mean, I wish that when my kids were younger there was Pinterest around. I don't know if it would have helped. I probably would have still had a cocktail on the couch and hoped for the best. Found anything, you'd go find it outside in the yard.
Yes.
But I love that you are. Any new
Gracisms? Yes.
All right,
yes.
so let's talk about that. What does that mean?
Yes.
Fraser, I love your question.
So my 3rd daughter is adopted. She was part of our family, and we got the opportunity to adopt her when she was 2 years old, but we started taking care of her when she was 5 weeks old.
Wow.
Grace is one of those people that lives in a rainbow kind of unicorn world where everybody's beautiful, everything's great, but she also doesn't have a filter whatsoever, so you never know what's going to come out of her mouth, and she keeps us laughing. So sometimes she'll say things and I have to share it with people because I'm like, this is what Grace just said, because you just never know. She lives in her own world, and she's so special, and that's kind of where Bringing Home Grace came from.
Yeah, talk about that. So let's talk about Bringing Home Grace.
Sure, absolutely. So through the real estate business, again, I've been doing this a long time. We've been super blessed in our business, and we've always been big supporters of different local charities, one of them being the Legal Aid Society of Orange County. And because they helped us, actually Brevard County is where Grace was adopted, they helped us adopt Grace. I mean, it's not a fun process. I'll get texts a lot of, how did you do it? What did you go through? And the Legal Aid Society really, I mean, they kept us in the game.
I didn't know Legal Aid Society was part of that. So did they work with you with the local adoption agency? Did you go through like a children's home society, or was it private?
It was, well, it's so the mom, they had their rights taken away at some point, but you still have to fight, and Grace had what's called a guardian ad litem, and these attorneys give and volunteer their time to help people just like myself and Grace have a voice in that, especially as a baby. She didn't have a choice. So they truly helped us. I've never forgotten that process, and the foster care system, and kind of seeing what that was like was very traumatic. And so that's kind of when I realized I'm helping a lot of people a little. What if I focused on the one thing I'm super passionate about? What could I do if I started my own foundation and focused on one thing? And so that's when I decided, this is what I'm going to do. I'm super passionate about kids that are aging out of the foster care system, because it seems like then they tend to kind of get lost. What do I do next?
Well, they basically take them. My master's degree is in this, and I used
Yes,
to do
there you go.
I used to do the TPR, which is the Termination of Parental Rights. So I always voted for it. Because I never wanted the children to go back in. The problem is that once I did that and we actually put them in the system, they could be caught in the system until they're 18, and then basically the state says, okay, you're 18, have a nice life. You might have the clothes on your back if you're lucky, and there weren't any services to transition them out. So imagine you've been in foster care for maybe since you were born, and all of a sudden they're saying, sayonara, have a good time, and you have no resources, you have no training, you have nowhere to go, you're not sure what to do. And so any kind of transitional services are so critical.
Yeah, it was amazing to me because what I decided is, let me get some of the adults that have been through the foster care system, let me get them together, and some of them actually happened to be customers at the time. Let me ask them, what's one thing that would have changed your trajectory in life? What's one thing that would have really mattered? And I thought it was going to be things, my own things, or, a bag to take with me. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. And each one of them said, I wish I had a mentor. I wish I had somebody that believed in me or showed me a different lifestyle or told me that I could be anything that I wanted to be. And just coming from Tony Robbins, Desmond and I are both big Tony Robbins fans, I knew immediately, I've got to get these kids, 18 to 24, not really kids, but when you're old, that's what happens.
That's what happens.
Yeah,
They're still kids.
I've got to get these kids into a Tony Robbins seminar, weekend, Unleash the Power Within. These are super expensive, so this isn't something that's going to be available. So that's what Bringing Home Grace does. We raise money to take these kids through that have come out of the system. We work with Legal Aid Society to help choose who they feel would be excellent candidates for the program to go ahead and take these kids with us. And that's just what we did last November. We were able to raise enough money to take 3 people with us and just watch them go through this process, which is both heartbreaking and exhilarating and life-changing at the same time.
So let's say, I'll ask you my question, but Dave has a question. Debbie, what can viewers do to support your charity? What adds most value?
Yes, so 2 things. You can go on Facebook and search for Bringing Home Grace. There's donations there if you'd like to donate. However, February 24th, which is a Saturday at our office in Lake Nona, we're holding a charity fundraiser poker tournament. So we always like to add a little fun with our fundraisers. We are looking for 30 more players. Right now we have 30. We'd like 30 more players. It's a $50 buy-in, which does include dinner from Pig Floyd's, who's sponsoring as well,
awesome.
and some other sponsors that we have. So please come to that poker tournament. We'll definitely post the links to that on Eventbrite, where you can post that ticket. We'd love to see you there. So yes, please support us. Also, if you're somebody who would be a good fit, so somebody who offers counseling services, life empowerment type groups, we'd love to connect with you as well.
And so you were talking about the process, so you helped 3 kids, I don't call them kids, but let's say they're kids, last November. And what did that look like? So you chose them, and so how does that process work? What happens at that point? You go, okay, you 3 identified, we're going to help you, and then what happens next?
So so we got them, and we had to kind of be on the fast track process, and because I ended up with a heart issue that we were taking care of, so things just got thrown into the mix. And so Legal Aid Society was super supportive and said, hey, we've got 2 kids, and we didn't really have the chance to interview, meet them, or anything. It was just like, this is what we're doing. We're taking these 2 kids. And then one of the...
We met them the day we left.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was, we're all about risk. So I said, you know what? What's the worst that can happen?
Correct.
A lot. But I said, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And then Veronica is another friend / customer of mine that I had known went through the system, who was now an adult. So I said, Desmond, by the way, you're also coming, because I knew he would, I wanted to get a mix of people together that could really provide all different kinds of people coming together to attend Tony Robbins together. And you've got myself, you've got Desmond, you've got Jeff, who comes from Wisconsin, like all these different worlds of these kids or of these people that come together and go through Tony Robbins together. The process, it's life empowering, but it's also about release of pain. And watching these kids go through that was probably the toughest thing that I've ever done, because you can feel that pain coming out, and you're not supposed to necessarily help them through that process. You got to let them go through, and just kind of...
That's difficult. I can't have chills. Yeah.
Yes, it was the most difficult, because as a mom, you want to help, you want to support, you want to mom, you want to love on them, and just to listen to that was heartbreaking, but it made it all worthwhile. All the work, all the fear, all the what are we doing right now, it was all worth it at that moment. And I know Desmond was a huge part of that as well.
Yes, I was brought along because I can maybe relate to their stories a little bit more. Maybe coming from a similar background as some of these kids, I was brought along for that reason. But yes, it was a really cool experience, and me and Debbie had both been to Tony Robbins before, so it's something that we really believed in and how it can affect people for a change. So it was really cool to go there and to see them and to watch the change happen with them. And we still keep in contact with them to this day.
Well, I was going to ask you that. So what happens? So they go through the process. Tony Robbins is so powerful. And I hashtagged earlier, but we'll put, I mean, it's important for them to know. Some people don't know what Tony Robbins does. I mean, we're lucky and blessed to be in an industry, I think, that's super big on Tony Robbins. But a lot of people don't know that. So thank you, Jen. I appreciate you. The color looks good. I love you guys.
No gray?
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Sorry,
you can't see. You can sort of see Debbie's beautiful dress that she has on. But I think that people don't understand that. So you're all. I like that. Oops.
I was wondering.
Jen Waterman, I don't know what a hoe giver is, but
I don't either. Happy Valentine's Day.
That could listen. We're golden. This is what happens. We'll talk to her in a minute. But go givers. Now that's funny. But I think that people that don't understand it, they're having a breakthrough. They're having a moment. And they're dealing with things that probably they have buried for the last 5, 10, 15 years,
yes.
Which all of us go through, and we all have issues that we have to deal with. And Tony Robbins' experience is just so amazing about the healing and the getting through and the breakthrough. But for them, this might be the first time they've ever had a discussion, because foster care doesn't always come with counseling, ancillary services. You think it does, but sometimes they're just put in a home. And they're just happy to have a house and some food. And there isn't a lot going on. I know that the system tries, but there are many times where they're not getting any of the services that they need. So to be able to access who I consider the guru of any kind of breakthrough, Tony Robbins, that's just an amazing gift for them.
Yeah, we knew immediately, probably by day 2, this was going to be a process that wasn't going to end. I mean, they started calling us mom and dad and brother within day 2.
They still do.
Which I completely did not expect. So, I mean, we really had no idea what to expect, but that was one of those things that hit my heart, and I knew these kids are going to be in our life forever at this point. Right. So we check in with them. It's hard to watch some of the stuff they do because you want to just kind of grab them and pull them in the right direction. And so Desmond and I sometimes will talk and like, did you see that post?
I always have to be the bad guy.
You're the bad guy.
I sing Desmond on him.
I'm the one who's always got to be like, hey, stop that.
Right.
Yes, I said, Desmond,
don't do that.
Did you see that post? Make them take it off. So we try not to mom them too much. I mean, but at the same time, I want them to know we care. We are there for support. That's one of the things that we talked about for this year, is providing some scholarships for school. However, they have to meet certain goals that they've said they're going to do. So yeah, it's not going to stop there. That's a beginning, and then we want to take it from there to make sure these kids just have another person in their life that they know they can come to.
Yeah. So we did Thanksgiving together.
Mm-hmm.
We did
awesome.
Yeah, we did the holiday.
Awesome.
We did Thanksgiving together. We were just bowling with them. What was it, like a couple weeks ago? We were just out bowling with them. So
I don't engaged.
Yeah, well, I don't think they'd let us become disengaged for too long because they have our cell phone numbers and they will text and reach out to us without hesitation.
Yes.
And what are they all doing? So where are they at? Just the 3, or you can give an example. So they've gone through the program. They're still engaged with you. You guys it obviously touched both of your lives in a huge way too. So you all have a relationship that continues. How does that look? Where are they at? What are they working on?
Well, I know one of Chris, he's he's currently in a group home right now. Taj is in a form of assisted living with kind of like a bunch of rooms in one master, like kitchen and living room kind of area. So they're out there. Both of them are working.
It's good.
Chris is getting ready to graduate.
Yeah.
So from high
awesome.
school. So he was
Correct.
saying he was going to quit before, and now he's just so excited for graduation.
That's awesome.
Correct. And Taj is looking to join into paramedic school, was it? Paramedic school?
Yep, EMT school.
So
yes.
we keep on, we make sure we stay on them and keep on giving them a nice little kick in the ass.
Sure.
every now and then.
No,
I had to let one
understand
loose.
No, but I think it's important because that accountability, believe it or not, you guys probably know this, that accountability is actually a demonstration of love for a lot of them because you actually care enough to care what's going on, and so that accountability is so important that you're keeping them on their toes. Because if you didn't and you didn't care, that would be just horribly traumatic. They would have gone through the program and I can't reach Debbie and Desmond, so that meant nothing. And obviously that is a complete antithesis of what you guys do. You actually take them through and you're committed. So how is that going to be after 10 years? You're going to have 500 kids.
So we were talking about this, and because I actually went to the Legal Aid Society and I actually put on signing up for some volunteer
forever. Here we go. All right. All right, so we're back. Sorry, sometimes it goes crazy. There's Tracy Stein, who I want to talk to specifically about players for the tournament. Do you guys know Tracy?
No.
Tracy is a poker guru, and we'll talk a little bit. But Tracy, they have an event called Bringing Home Grace, and they need players for an event on February 24th. So Dave Chubb asks, would they be good candidates for Quantum Leap?
Yes.
So what's Quantum Leap? Of course, I immediately go to the winery. So,
Nope,
my son did Quantum Leap.
Yes.
Thanks to you all.
You got it. Yeah. So Quantum Leap for Kids, or KW Kids Can. This is something that's happening March 31st. Some of our agents are teaching this course, and it's a all-day Saturday course. Again, kids 18 through 24. Now, this is open to everybody. It's not foster child specific, but we always provide scholarships for that. It's basically going through determining what your goals are, what you want to do, mapping out how to get there.
Do you see what Jeff says? We need a larger house.
Oh, yeah,
Jeff just came on.
We do. So that's one of the things for Quantum Leap. So yes, we'll always send kids there as well, because it's really empowering them to figure out what's the next step. Everybody comes out kind of confused of what do I do next, and this is a way to really figure out what are they passionate about, how to get there, what to do next. So that's
because
really
sometimes they've never been asked. They go through the motions, and I'm not talking about just the foster care kids, but for Quantum Leap. Like even my son, he came out and he said, I've never been asked those questions before. Now, I have asked him those questions, but they don't listen to parents.
Correct.
They don't hear
totally
us.
No.
Different.
He was like, God,
know.
that's amazing. I can't believe they asked me all that. Like, I've been asking you that anyway.
Totally. That's a
but
teenager
it's
thing.
so awesome for them to be able to address those issues and talk about the things that they think that they haven't talked about, and to be able to really kind of find their way, at least try to find their way. And I think Quantum Leap did him great. I appreciate that.
I'm
so
glad
much.
he liked it.
All right, so any parting words, and we're going to post all of the information. We're going to post any way that you need to get in touch with Debbie and Desmond, everything about Bringing Home Grace. We'll post the Eventbrite, which I think Jasmine already did the link, and I'll copy and paste that. Thank you for doing that.
Yes.
But what kind of parting words of wisdom? What do you want to leave them with? And we didn't talk about some of the stuff I wanted to talk about with you, so we'll have to come back. She's like, I'm never coming back. The last
I
time
hate the camera. Can you tell?
yeah, right. She's awesome. They both are.
Thank you.
But any parting words of wisdom for them? Anything you want to share with them about Quantum Leap, about Bringing Home Grace, about, I don't know, biology and muck?
Ladies first.
Biology and muck, that's most people zone out on that. So I would say for me, just in the past year, it is Heart Health Month. So you guys make sure if you're having any issues to get that checked out. That's one thing that we didn't talk about. However, I would say this experience has led me to just remind everybody that we get so caught up in the mix of work and what your job is, and to grow and get bigger and make more money, and just think about those things that you're passionate about, and a lot of times you can combine those with what you do. For instance, the real estate, which I love, it now funds Bringing Home Grace along with the donations and the fundraisers, but being able to link those two things, your job, career, and your passion, has been completely life-changing for me. So, and I will tell you, I did not do a bunch of research. How do I start a foundation? I winged it. I called an attorney. This is what I want to do. Spend a couple minutes with me, and this. So really anybody can do it. That fear sometimes is there, and people want to, oh, it's super, watch out for IRS, all this. You know what? Just do it. So that would be my parting words. Take that passion, figure out what you want to do with it, and just go for it.
Agreed. anything for you?
Absolutely.
Here he comes.
Here I am. So, a couple words, a piece of words of advice from me. One thing that has struck me, and Debbie kind of struck down by winging it, jump and grow your wings on the way down. There's never a wrong time to start doing something. You can fall, you can fail. Trust me, I've been there. I've been knocked down plenty of times, especially with my upbringing. Just don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. Whatever you want to do, just do it. Don't ever stop.
All right.
Love it.
We love you guys. You guys are awesome today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the invite. I was like, God, we've got to promote that. Tracy Stein, I'm going to make the introduction. There's tons of you out there that do poker tournaments, though.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
if they need 30 players. And
yeah, all levels welcome. It's a super fun tournament, so there will be great prizes. Everybody likes prizes, so
and
make
drinks.
sure you...
And drinks.
And drinks and dinner
Cheers,
and
by the
fun.
way.
Cheers.
Happy Valentine's
Yes.
Day.
All right, we hope to see you there.
We love you guys. Thanks for supporting. And again, I'll post all the information later.
Thank you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. And here comes the...